votes. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Jamie Kendall,
Present.
Darcy McSwain,
Present.
Paul Jendrski,
Here.
Edgar Titoff,
Present.
Michael Nesbitt,
Present.
Kathy Harris,
Present.
and Lois Tiley is absent.
Any adjustment to the agenda?
Yes, sir. Our server was down last Wednesday through Monday, so we had to retype up everything and try to pay bills the old way. And so we amended the old council agenda. So we're gonna have to add public comment after approval adjustment to the agenda that was omitted. And then in new business, I'd like to add F, swear-in Chief Jason Oliver, and G, Resolution 23-10.
Sorry, where are we putting the swearing in at?
Underneath new business.
Oh, you're making that from here.
I'll make a motion that we approve the adjustments to the agenda.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Public comment?
Good evening. My name is Terry Brown. I'm a longtime resident in this town. I've come here because I'm kind of appalled at what's been going on at the council from the start of this year and including the last month. You have a bully on this committee. This bully is running this committee. This bully has attacked 3 village employees that I have been at. Mr. Crowfoot, Don, Hart, and last month, even this gentleman that presented that was working with our ordinances. I think it's totally uncalled for. It's time that we step up and do something about this. Last month, I sat there and I had 3 ladies behind me wanting to take this bully out in the parking lot. One of them actually challenged him, or whoever you may want to call it, but there was too much ranting and raving going on. I don't think this bully heard it. I think it's getting totally out of hand. We get control. You're supposed to serve our community, and we expect it out of you. And I think you're doing a pretty good job generally, but attacking our people is wrong. 100% wrong. We owed this guy an apology that was here last week. A lot of us tried to catch him before he left, but he left too soon. That was totally wrong, attacking him like we did. He's here to help us. Our planning commission has done a heck of a job putting these ordinances together. Last week, this council made a mistake by putting this off till this month. You should have made a motion to accept it, second it, and voted on it. It would have went through 5-1. That's where we went, and we got bullied into doing that. That's why you did it. I think you all recognize it. Please take heed to it. I expect some changes. I think these people out here are expecting it. It's not just me. I think a lot of people feel the same way I do. No one wants to say anything. There's some people in here politically want to be politically correct. I don't really care. Doesn't bother people one way, be politically correct one way or another. I'm just telling the truth. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Spicer, engineer report. Mitchell, sir.
Good evening. I believe everyone got a copy of the engineer's report, or should have. Not a whole lot to update on the drinking water asset management grant. Again, we're still kind of plugging away at it. As we get into this phase one water system improvements project, a lot of the lead services that were identified will begin to be, start being replaced. So that'll be something that'll be documented in the asset management report and finalized as we move through that project. Big one we gotta talk about is phase one. We've got a lot going on with that right now. Last month, we, continued to work with contractors, suppliers on getting shop drawings approved and keeping the project moving forward. We had our pre-construction meeting on April 13th. There was a successful bond sale for the project through Saginaw County on April 27th, and I believe tomorrow is the closing date for that bond. So once everything's signed and said done, we should be receiving, the village should be receiving the money to fund the project. I believe, Hart, did you share the interest rate and whatnot that we got?
I shared it with the council. We were guesstimating between 5 and 6% interest rate during current times, and we received a 3.6% interest rate, which will save us about $500,000 over the course of the project, which is, nothing, not pennies. They included $70,000 additional dollars as accrued interest to add to the project. We've already approved change order number 1, which cut $82,000 from the project because it was over. So this gives us a little leeway to either add back to the project, approach different pipes. We received the check for $250,000 from the state of Michigan as part of the Category B grant fund for new roads. That's in addition to the $596,000 total in new roads and sidewalks. Trying to think, the county will receive the money, so they should have it tomorrow. Talked to Brian Wendley, met with him twice last week. Ed signed some paperwork, Jenny signed some paperwork, we approved the notice. We're expecting to receive materials tomorrow. Air Construction is, and it's gonna be orange barrel season all summer long in St. Charles, and we gotta make sure that we're keeping driveways open, businesses open. I don't know where I was just traveling, maybe Lansing or something, and they had signs that said businesses are open, and I think we need to talk to MDOT about making sure that we have that signage, but, so $3,670,000 will be going in the county bank for our project. We're still potentially receiving a little over $3 million from the federal government to help pay for it. We'll find out not till December, but this $500,000 difference is huge based on our guesstimate. It takes our, like I said, $500,000 in savings, but it takes our yearly payment from $299,000 to about $250,000. So awesome for us. Very fortuitous, very lucky. Just a great day.
I see the, what you call it, cones or whatever there, the markers along Bell Avenue. If we get our material, when's the projected date to start?
That's where I was going with that.
Yeah.
Next Monday,
Monday.
they're planning on starting. And, meeting with the contractor and discussing in the pre-construction meeting, their tentative plan is to be on Bell Ave for about 17 weeks. So it's going to be a slow process. We will not be closing Bell Avenue down. Traffic will be maintained. It will be taken down to 2 lanes instead of 3 lanes, or there will be a shoulder
You on the east side of the highway?
We're on both sides at times, so, we start off on the west side, and then we gotta do a crossing at Charles, right off the get-go, and then we'll be running down the east side for a while before we switch over, so, like I said, that's tentatively their plan right now. They'll strictly move forward with water main work. I think right now the tentative plan is to go to Lake Street, pressure test, get everything back in service, switch services over, and then continue down Bell before getting on to East Bell, Hosmer, Clinton, and Saginaw.
I sent you guys Air Construction's like tentative work dates, 17 weeks on Bell, 4 weeks on West Hosmer, 1 week on East Hosmer, 1 week on East Alley, East Bell 2 weeks, Saginaw, Chesaning 4 weeks, West Alley 2 weeks. So that's the tentative. We do have letters to go out to residents. We've been knocking on doors already to kind of give them a heads up what's coming. If your water's shut off, it shouldn't be more than a couple hours. So hopefully you're at work. If not, we'll work with you. Trying to think of everything else in the letter.
Just the big thing's gonna be communication, and, we'll do our part, the contractor will do their part to make sure everyone, is informed as best as we can and get the information to Hart and Don and the village so they can present it as needed. There will be, we see a lot of complaints on restoration and whatnot, and, I guess that I ask that everyone just be understanding as we move through the project. It's great for the village's infrastructure and water system. We just gotta get there now, so.
Yeah, projected working hours, 7 AM to 7 PM. We'll have the traffic control, driveway access and reconstruction, topsoil, grass seeding, garbage and mail delivery will be the contractors are aware of what needs to happen. That's the good part of having a local company. They know what's going on. If we experience water main breaks, we're gonna be on Facebook, we're gonna be knocking doors, so, it's just gonna take a lot of teamwork to get out there and let everybody know.
I think that should have all wrapped up. Does anyone have any questions? Like I said, it's good, it's gonna be great for the village, it's just work with us now. And it's gonna be a slow go. I mean, there's a lot of existing utilities and a lot of, tedious work that has to be complete to now take it to the next step of the project, so.
So tomorrow we're meeting with Westlock to go over the indoor plumbing, that
Yep.
side of it.
The lead services have to be replaced right into the basement of the home, so, there'll be, again, a lot of coordination with landowners and scheduling times and, making sure there's a minimum disruption to these residents.
So this is gonna be charged to the resident. I mean, like, I know the village or whatever owns up to so far on the meter or whatever, and then from there, if it's still lead, is the homeowner gonna have to pay for that?
Our requirement, the village's requirements are we have to provide service to 18 inches inside of the basement wall or the first shut off.
Okay.
If there is, a previously connected to lead or lead service.
And so we worked with Westlock, cause again, local, and try to get a set price on, because we don't know how many they're gonna be, that try to keep costs down, but at the same time, liability is off the village and on the third party, plumber. And, they can't come back in a year and say, well, Don didn't hook it up right, or Tyler didn't hook it up right. It was a professional licensed plumber that did it, and that's who you'll have to take it up with, so. And then
Anything else, Hart?
10 o'clock tomorrow, we're gonna go over the structural engineering of the old water towers, see if it's even paintable, and,
Is it only Westlock doing the, good, keep it local.
yeah, so he'll be here at 9, I believe.
Yep.
9 and then 10.
With that, appreciate it, thank you.
Thanks,
As
Mitchell.
always, if there's any questions, reach out.
Did you get that map from last month?
Which map?
We'll talk later.
Okay. I have maps.
You were supposed
Yeah.
to give them to us last month, you never did.
Okay.
Thanks, Mitchell. Nice job.
Council minutes approval. Any adjustments there, anything? Discussion? Be April 12th, 2023.
I'll make a motion, we accept the council minutes from April 12th, 2023.
Support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Commission and committee reports.
I have a question, Hart.
Yeah.
In the minutes of the April 14th meeting, they were talking about the wish list for the
Mhm.
DDA. And it said the You'll Do Better in Chesaning sign is an eyesore. Is that the Gardner one?
Yeah, we hate it. We've called the company, the billboard company, and try to get it down, try to get it, pay for us to get a signage in there, and they're saying it's on a 2-year rotation with certain people, and so the joke is that when we paint the water tower, if we paint a water tower, we'll put You'll Do Better in St. Charles on it, so. It bothers us, cause
Well,
right
maybe we
when
could
you
just-
come to town, that's the first thing you read, and it
You could
irks
just
a lot of
cross out
people.
Chesaning and put St. Charles.
I wouldn't look, I'm not gonna say anything in front of the officer, but.
Well, I am happy to say that Friday I did see Juan Bush when I was collecting for the Lions Club, and I handed him his mints, and I told him he would do better in St. Charles. Yeah, it was pretty. He got a good chuckle out of it.
Did he
least give you $1?
Oh, hey, give me like a 5.
I think they raised $1,400 on Friday.
You felt bad.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
And I just came from the scholarship application. We had 10 applicants for the St. Charles Lions Club. It's about $2,500, but it's 10 solid kids. Last year we had one kid, and the year before 3. But there was 10 solid. I gave my rankings and I left as it's on you guys. But call me if you have any questions.
We
But
have
that-
5 of them for the St. Samuel Club.
yeah, they're more impressive. President Pro Tem Nesbitt's like they probably wrote their essays with AI, but I didn't even think
Actually, it
about
sounded really good.
Yeah.
I actually have them with you guys.
it.
Actually, no, they're actually really good.
No, the ones that wrote it, now we know that actually give them more points for writing it out.
Right, right.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, but $2,500 to, I haven't decided how we're gonna break it down. You know, you want it to be substantial, more than everybody gets $250, but, you know, great kids. And a lot of them we're talking about, when I graduate, when I go on, I'm coming back to St. Charles. I love this community. My roots are here. Awesome. Like I didn't cry. I'm not gonna say I cried, but they tear you up. Like some of these stories of these kids, they get personal in those essays, and it's some of that sad stuff that we don't even know about that they're battling every day at school. So very cool.
You talk about bringing the Coal Miner Festival back.
They're talking about it. Yep, like a 5K run. We got to figure out the details, or if we just piggyback off the hometown days and make it a thing there. But I'll tell you what, the facade grant program is doing everything I've ever dreamed it would be. You're seeing Bad River's updating again. Thurston's is updating. Cam's Brick Oven will be updating. Library, Devwoods. The museum got new signage and needs probably new paint too, and little work on that ceiling, that roof. But that program is really making things look nice. We're getting a lot of calls about buildings downtown. People want to bring business to town, so hopefully we can work with them. They've been calling Scott, trying to see what they have to do. So hopefully something happens sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
I will say that Don and I are probably gonna go out to Elpart tomorrow and get the fertilizer and the soil for the planters and start putting those out so that they're all out by beautification day. But way bigger than we thought, but we went to John Dusick to see, and he's like, well, those are huge. You guys are gonna have to go buy in bulk. So Jeff Campbell and Brent Tuma and Matt Veal, the sales guy, I went to high school with those guys, so I realized who he's talking to. I was like, I'll cut out the middleman, John, we'll take it from here. So they hooked up the village pretty well.
Is the new water project gonna interfere at all with the beautification day?
Sure is. If you guys, you want it started now, but yeah, it sure will. So hopefully kids are safe, and maybe good that we're off the curbs. So
I mean, we can emphasize more on other areas in downtown.
absolutely,
There's
school,
so
park.
much that needs it.
Yeah.
We'll make it work.
I'll make a motion to accept the DDA minutes for April 14th and May 5th.
I'll support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Parks and Recreation Committee for April 26, 2023.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of the St. Charles Parks and Recreation Committee.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Name the claims. stapler for Jenny was priced way too high.
That was Marguerite's stapler.
Well, and who's that person we keep paying to clean the DPW barn? Just,
Make a motion to pay the bills for April in the amount of $218,481.87.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
FYI, it's up $154,387.58 from last month. Total $436,963.74 spent.
Old business. Zoning ordinance.
I'm gonna make a motion that we accept the village zoning ordinance.
Support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do we need a roll call? for
We need a roll call.
Yes.
Jamie Kendall,
Yes.
Darcy McSwain,
Yes.
Paul Jenderski,
Yes.
Edgar Titoff,
Yes.
Michael Nesbitt,
Yes.
Kathy Harris,
Yes.
and Lois Tiley is absent this evening.
I would just add that there was no planning commission last month because we had to post what we're going to talk about next week in a Tri-County Citizen for 15 days, and the day we got the information, it would have been 12. There's no new FEMA flood maps that are required by the state. We're already the enforcer of the floodplain, but they're updating their maps from 1997. And as well as I've asked Jason Ball from last month, if you recall, to bring in some verbiage on boat size and parking and what to do with that, so. We didn't change anything in the ordinance regarding boats. We made it so you could put it closer to your neighbor, but obviously it wants to be addressed and amended perhaps, so we'll send it to the planning commission for recommendations to you.
I got a question on that. On when you said they're gonna be updating stuff from 1997.
The
for
flood.
flooding zone?
Yeah.
From FEMA?
Yeah,
So
they're
if they
maps.
pull you out of flood zone, I mean, is that going to take effect? Are you allowed to, like me, I have a mortgage on my house, I pay flood insurance?
The insurance is definitely gonna.
So
affect.
what I'm trying to say is, these people that if they make the flood zone bigger, on people that have a mortgage, aren't they gonna have to pay flood insurance?
Yes. Scott, could you speak to that? I believe the answer is yes.
Yes. There were a lot of parcels that were taken out, or portions of the parcels that were taken out of the floodplain. Those people would no longer need to have flood insurance. But there are parcels that are now in the floodplain, and those people, they have a mortgage, will more than likely be made to get flood insurance.
Who came out and did that, or redid the map or anything?
Why did they redo it too?
They redid it because of the advancement in radar technology. So when they fly over with a plane, they can get a more precise radar image that shows the actual elevation. So that areas that were not in the floodplain were now included, and areas that were, that shouldn't have been, were removed.
So they say this stuff been flooding for hundreds of years, they took them till now to figure that out, I mean.
So my thing is from 1997, I live in Lower Town, on the other side of the tracks. If I haven't had a flood or anything, or had an insurance claim since '86, which everybody and their mom and dad had one, even on Swan Creek Road over by Jack's, and I haven't had one since '86, are they gonna pull my zone out to where I don't have to pay flood insurance? Or are they just adding on to it, just add on to it? Who do I contact to find out who came out and so-called flew over and figured this out?
FEMA,
Well, that I've already dealt with FEMA, they're a joke.
I would,
Joey Brooks.
Joey Brooks is the engineer, the floodplain engineer at Eagle,
Okay,
and I can get you your contact
that's all,
information.
yeah, that's all, I appreciate that a lot,
You
because
guys want the same
honest,
information, because about 6 foot of the end of my building has been flooded,
right,
and that's it.
Yeah.
Like the corner of my building, and I gotta carry it on the whole building.
I'll tell you right now, on my mortgage, I pay $2,700 a year. A year on top of my mortgage to live in a 1,400 square foot house down in Lower Town. My fault, maybe, but still, the thing is I don't think I should be paying that much. Because if I haven't had a floater, I haven't pulled a claim, or nothing's been done since '86, when they came in and Red Cross came and lifted houses and did what they did and gave you money and gave everybody like $25,000, which lifted the houses down there, which they did to spec to where they had to do what they did.
Mm-hmm. We lifted
I
them.
don't think, I don't think that I should be in the flood zone.
I believe some people
Yeah,
took payments to get out
$5,000.
rather than just lift as well, correct?
Well, that's their fault, I didn't take no.
Well, I'm
payment.
just- that-
Yeah.
but that's
Well,
what-
yeah, but I'm
yeah.
just saying,
You'd have to see
mine,
if
mine,
they
mine,
took
they got proof that mine was lifted to spec, so,
Okay.
I mean, everybody would like to save, I mean, I could have a brand new Toyota Prius sitting in my driveway right now for what I pay a year.
Whether you're in the
Flood insurance.
floodplain or not is based on the elevation of your property. You have the right to hire a surveying company and have it proven that you're not in it.
Good luck with that.
And
Yeah, I'll
if you do
lose.
that, then you would be removed from the
I'll
floodplain,
lose.
but that's on you.
You have to pay for it.
I'll have to borrow a loan from Terry. All right, thank you. That's all I got. Thank you, guys. I will get that number from you, and I really do appreciate it, thank you.
Yep, no problem.
New business?
So this is the personnel policy manual that village employees are under, other than the police officers that have a CBA through POEM. One of the things while we we're going through the interview process that was brought to light is cell phones for the police officers. We had them in the past, but they got rid of them for some reason. I don't, Marguerite could speak to that, but we're looking at bringing them back, so I just added a policy in here so that Chief Oliver could have a cell phone, and then we'll have one back there for whoever, whatever officer is on. And just kind of limits on, you know, it's yours to use, but use it responsibly type deal, so that's what we're looking to get through today. So approving just the redo of the manual.
So you're saying the chief would get one, and then there would be one or two?
We're looking at getting rid of, they're not sitting back there, you know? And so let's get rid of the 2 landlines and get them cell phones in exchange.
Okay.
So the number goes right to them so they can be out on the road, get to the scene faster and be more efficient.
Okay, then they would,
Makes sense.
what, take the phone with them when they go on their
Correct,
shift, and then bring it back and put in the charger when they're done?
correct. And then central dispatch is still available, 911 is still available.
I seen that Spectrum runs a thing for first responders and everything, they do it usually 45% off.
Yep.
So what you guys pay, I guarantee, in 2 landlines that are just sitting there absolutely doing nothing, you guys will save a ton of money by just getting 2-3 cell phones on a package. You guys will probably be realistically with phone, like $80 to $90, not a piece. That's for like 3 phones.
Yep,
So-
so we went through Spectrum, we went through Verizon, we looked at AT&T, and they're all in the same ballpark.
Spectrum, yeah, Spectrum bounces off Verizon towers, so I mean, that's
Yep.
pretty much it.
Yep, so did our work on that, and it's a good deal.
Cell phone salesman now?
No. I'm just telling you guys what to say.
Roll call vote for those.
Just gonna say that.
I was gonna ask you if you're selling them in the building.
For the handbook. I'll make, well, first we gotta make a motion. I'll make a motion to adopt the, new cell phone update.
I'll support.
Okay. Jamie Kendall,
Yes.
Darcy McSwain,
Yes.
Paul Jendersky,
Yes.
Edgar Titoff,
Yes.
Michael Nesbitt,
Yes.
Kathy Harris,
Yes.
and Lois is absent tonight.
Drain resolution and application, Benton Street.
Brian Windling is supposed to be here to speak to this. He's spoken to council in the past. We've passed resolution in the past, but now they're actually ready, looking to get work. It's about, yes, sir.
Where's Benton Street?
So it's the old drain, right behind Hanchett Street.
Between Cole and Hanchin runs to the river.
Oh,
There's
that's
a
the one
little
run,
street
kind of ran around, that used to run around there, is that what you're
Crosses
saying?
M52 and dumps into the river.
Okay,
So you have the resolution and the application, we're gonna need to pass the resolution, get it to him before we can move forward with the application. Basically, we're just, based on county law, we're getting rid of the drain and putting it in the county's business so that we don't have to pay for the whole project ourselves. I think the total project is gonna cost the village a few $1,000s, the residents a couple $100. I don't know how long they're gonna, put it out for, 7 to 10 years, but they're gonna clean up all the ditching and the trees back there that are clogging it up, so. Somebody complained, we made enough complaint that, Brian's taking on the project, so.
yeah, I haven't complained enough.
So Brian will be here for the application side. This is the resolution to get the work done, basically to establish the construction of the new proposed drain. Setting the district, it'll go to the drain commissioners, I believe 3 counties, 1 ours and two neighboring, and they'll vote on it whether it's an approved project or not.
Who do they hire to clean it up?
I think the county does it.
County does
It
it?
goes out to bid.
Yeah, I've never seen this project. I have seen one in Shiawassee where they brought in, it was like, they wanted $4 million for it, ended up getting 8. And I think Spicer got that job, just throwing that out there. But, yeah, I was trying to fight for 2 mil.
So you're saying residents would have to pay $200?
Yeah.
So each
They might, I don't know the exact, amount, and Brian will have to talk to that when he gets here on the total project cost, but my guess, this is off, not on the record, but I'd say about $47,000 total. And the county pays the portion, we pay a portion, and residents pay a portion.
I'll make a motion to approve the drain resolution on Benton Street.
I'll support.
Does the train go all the way from the end of Benton Street, the dead end, all the way to the river? Is that what you're saying?
It goes under the highway to the river, yes.
There's one there now.
Yeah. They're just gonna clean it.
Does it
Yeah,
run
I
for
don't-
car road?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
the drain does, but I think they're going from there to, just to 52, correct?
Probably.
For the work, I believe.
You need a roll call.
And you guys are gonna
on
be
that.
getting
Yeah.
quotes for that? Is that what
The
you're
county, it'll go through the county, but they have to approve the project first. 3 county drain commissioners have to approve the project after we put the resolution together. They'll vote on it at the drain district, and then they'll come back and ask for permission for the application to lay out and design the drainage district.
The 2 houses on the end of the dead end of Benton Street, are they having problems with back flooding or something?
Allegedly, that's what I've been told, yes.
Okay.
So nothing needed on the application just yet. That'll probably be next month, hopefully, and Brian will be here to speak to it.
Okay, we need a roll call, correct?
Yep.
Jamie Kendall?
Yes.
Darcy McSwain?
Yes.
Paul Jenders.
Yes.
Edgar Titoff?
Yes.
Michael Nesbitt?
Yes.
Kathy Harris?
Yes.
And Lois Tiley is absent.
Tree quotes.
We have 3 quotes for a tree on West Bell Avenue. 2 from, I believe, January. And the company that won the bid from Eric Construction threw in to add this one on at the price that you see, $1,800. And Mitchell, do you know how much tree work we're doing?
Right now, we have $41,450.
So we're doing $41,000 worth of tree work during this project, so.
Well, I would like to keep it local, and I would like to make a motion to give the tree quote to Thurston Logging.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Yay.
Aye.
Those opposed? Playground boss.
In front of you, you have the recommendation from the Parks Committee for the new playscape at Coal Miners Park. They worked on this for about 4 months. We received 4 bids from Game Time, Pinchira, Little Tykes, and Playground Boss. It would be a community effort. It's a huge playscape, as you can see. It looks a little different in color. Let me just blow this up, but. So it looks like this. This would be the new feature at Coal Miners Park. It's 51 feet by 52 feet. The original cost was $180,000. We're getting it for half of that, $79,000. So $50,000 is coming from Saginaw Community Foundation, $36,000 from the DDA, and then the $60,000 from the village, which we budgeted as part of our budget back in April. 51 by 52, 26 play activities, and can hold 68 kids at one time. It'll refreshen the park, bring in new materials. We're adding some ADA swings for children with disabilities. And the goal was, this is part of our park's 5-year plan to get this playscape. We've been talking about it since 2017, I believe. So we're finally gonna hopefully get it ordered tomorrow. It'll be here in 8 to 10 weeks with installation right after that. So we'll get half the summer with it, some fall. There's a nice warranty on it. We looked at doing the installation ourselves. We called Beerline and a few other companies to see if we could save some money. It's like $40,000 for installation, but very technical work. Obviously, you have to follow their specs or the warranty is voided. So that's where the DDA came in. Hoping to add other features for 2 to 5-year-olds in years to come, but as part of the 5-year plan of the parks, this is the major undertaking. And be a huge accomplishment. So.
What's the ground gonna be like, rubber mulch? Is it gonna be the rubber?
It's gonna be the wood mulch, so we're going with something that's enclosed so the mulch doesn't come out with the ramp, so it's handicap accessible technically. Obviously not the most inclusive, but still ADA compliant. So we're going with wood mulch because the rubber stuff was, $20 a square foot.
Does the wood mulch have to be replaced every year?
Probably, but every few. I'm trying to, there is a photo here.
Every year, or every other year, or something like that?
Yeah.
What are they doing with the park down at the park down there?
We've been in discussion for a few things. Obviously, the kayak launch, we're hoping the head wall will go in this week still, probably tomorrow morning. So that'll be the head wall. Hopefully, the kayak launch will be in the next couple weeks, depending on when the company brings it. So the equipment down there, they've talked and they don't have a plan just yet, whether to spruce it up or move it to near the ball fields between field 2 and 3. So the kids that come in for travel, we're hosting, I think, 5 travel tournaments allegedly, potentially. I think it's going to bring in about $375 for the parks, but thousands of people to the area for food, drink, water, Gatorade, pizza. So Paul Krasaniak, who travels with Little League, and he's on the board there, has gone to all these parks and said there's always something for the littles who aren't playing between the parks. So they're talking about maybe moving the stuff from Lumberjack 2 up near the fields so that the little kids, because right now I think there's one slide and a half a...
What was it talking about that? You're talking about the mulch.
Oh.
Down at the park down there. Are they gonna remove that sand, the litter box down there and?
That's the
I
thing,
mean,
if you're gonna take the playground
it all
equipment,
at
can you
once?
just rip it up? If you're gonna,
Yep.
if we're gonna put a kayak launch in there and try to make it look nice, I mean,
Yeah, use the mulch. I mean, maybe you have some more left over there. You can do something with it down there. You
Yeah,
know?
that's kind of the discussion where
Get a bulk rate, something.
Yep.
Because right now, he's right about the cats down there.
I'm happy if you just rip that stuff out of there and put like a gazebo in there or something, somewhere where they can enjoy it. That playground equipment is,
It doesn't get used.
no, it don't. And if they can use it down at coal miners, take it. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know who I gotta talk to do it, but I mean, realistically, it's not, if you're sprucing up that for a kayak launch, you're gonna have people that are gonna wanna sit, you're gonna have people that are gonna snack after then they're done launching the boat, doing that. And I'd rather have something nice down there other than, I mean, I'm not saying $181,000 playscape, but, I don't know, gazebo of some type or something where they can sit down.
Well, there's kind of a little gazebo there, no? You're talking about down
Yeah,
there?
not the little gazebo, just something.
just as a note, that $180,000 playscape cost the village $60,000. Just
That's what you said, 58,000.
yeah. Still, that's pretty good for the village.
That's awesome. That same playscape that you're talking about, if you go out to the park up there, over off of 127, out of the thing, it looks identical to that one, and I'm gonna tell you what, it's pretty cool out there, it's a pretty, it's awesome.
It's gonna be a huge feature, I think. It does come in green and white, but too many Michigan fans on the Parks Board said no. So, but the canopies come down, so wind, we gotta be wary of that and make sure they're not ripped, but easy replacements, they said, so,
They're kinda heavy though, right?
yeah.
You really have to have a canopy down there?
No. We'll take them off in winter and probably any windstorm that we see, first sign of it.
I mean, is it a big deal, is it a hard thing to do to remove that down there, what we got down there in Lumberman Park?
Oh, I don't think so. No. They just started the discussion at the end of last Parks meeting about what to do with it, and that's when the idea came to move it between the fields
If
for
there's
the
any
littles.
opinion on taking it out of there, I mean, I'm just making suggestions, there's literally nobody that uses it.
That was kind of the assumption that everybody came to, but we wanted to have another meeting on it, of course, and talk about it. Paul has a lot of good ideas, you know, he wants new chains, he wants new paint, so he gets scatterbrained, he sends 11 texts, and I need this, I want this. He goes to parks all over. One of the game time things we looked at, he's like, yeah, I want this this Timber Town 2.0 they have in Mount Pleasant. So I looked it up. The base price is $79,000. Okay, we can work with this. Oh, I want this one, I want this, and he hit a printout of all the things that the kids were using and what he liked. And I go, and so they even had a video for it. I go, Paul, this is $400,000. Well, I don't need all of it. I just want this, and then I'm like, that's still $300,000. Well, all right, but so he's very, very into parks, and that was his suggestion. So we'll probably vote on it next meeting.
I suggested too, maybe putting a little bit more of a parking lot, maybe not the whole thing as a parking lot, but, you know, people start coming in there with kayaks and stuff, we might need more room.
I don't know what it would take, but, and I know you can't disturb it, and I'm not saying to put some kind of boat launch, but, I mean, I don't know if cobblestone or something like that, like I said, or rock or whatever, but, I mean, more and more people now are launching their boat on that side,
Yep.
and it's a pain in the butt, and, that's why I came here today, is listening to the zoning ordinance thing, which I already went through, whatever on public comment, we're cool on that, and I don't even know why I'm commenting now, cause I'm supposed to wait, but I'll forget what I gotta say. But,
So also at the end, they talked about boat launch, and Paul's got a friend that is in Port Huron, and he launches his boat after his private dock, and they have chains down there to make it easier for everybody. So he said that might be a feasible way. So we're supposed to have pictures and talk about that as well.
I mean, has anybody ever brought up like a floating dock or a dock or anything that we can just pull out without disturbing it, that can go in there as long as you ain't sinking poles in the ground or anything?
Not yet.
Okay.
Hey Neil, maybe you should come to, one of our park commission meetings with your suggestions too.
They won't like
It'll be
it there
next
either.
Wednesday.
No.
We all love you, everyone loves you, Neil.
They'll like you.
That's right. I don't wanna be on board, I'm too busy already.
We already tried that.
He must be the chief of police, I figured it out right now. I'll talk to you afterwards, there you go. I did, I got him.
Got it.
Going along with what Kathy was saying, I mean, if you make the parking lot, I think I suggested that before, make the parking lot bigger so you can get a boat and a truck after you launch, pull it up there. You can have a drive that goes along the river so you can pull right up to the kayak boat launch and launch your kayak boat, because there's a lot of us elderly people that can't carry them very far.
I like
so.
both your guys' ideas, that's awesome, I'll widen it out and do whatever. I'll be here, I'll talk about it.
Okay. 5:30, next Wednesday.
I'll get out of work early.
Yeah, she'll be out at 5:30, okay, Brian?
Are we voting on this?
Mm-hmm.
Need a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept this,
Well, you're on the Parks Committee,
Oh,
so
okay,
I would
yeah,
probably
I should do
abstain.
that.
Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, no offense. Sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of Playground Boss Playing.
I'll support it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Roll call.
To the roll call?
Money.
Jamie Kendall,
Yes.
Darcy McSwain,
Yes.
Paul Jendersky,
Yes.
Edgar Titoff,
Yes.
Michael Nesbitt,
Yes.
Kathy Harris,
Then I'll abstain.
abstain, okay, and then Lois Tiley is absent.
Truck quote.
Oh, as part of our capital improvement plan, looking at new trucks for DPW. We've budgeted for it, we bartered for it, we approved it last year, we didn't like the price. The prices aren't going down.
They're not going down.
So this is $3,000 more than the original price, but again, if you recall that we purchased it, signed an agreement, but then the truck came, they're like, no, that's gonna be $9,000 more than you agreed to, and we just disagreed on principle. Well, now we have a truck that is dying,
It's a 2001 Dodge.
2001, that's served its purpose, and it's gonna take a lot of work, new transmission, everything. So we did budget for this within the capital improvement plan. We do have money in the equipment fund to purchase this at the $39,085.40. The other quote we received was through Sourcewell Bidding, which is a state website that you kind of bid with power with other government entities, and their price was $41,000.
Sounds like a plain Jane pickup truck though, there was nothing fancy to it, don't sound like for that.
Nope, and that's kind of that's what we need it for.
But if you're gonna work it, I mean, wouldn't you rather have something a little, something a little beefier, so it's gonna last? I mean, if you guys got your money's worth out of the other one, obviously, but I'm just saying, if you went to 3/4, 1 ton or something.
Actually,
I knew the 4-wheel drive, that's gonna add $10,000 to it.
this is a 4-wheel drive half ton, and it'll tow anything and do anything we need. We have that 1 ton.
But you get what I'm saying, you go too cheap, you might end up paying in the long run.
This is a work truck, but it has everything we need on it. We can,
Whatever works.
Guess we're not buying it from Juan Bush.
he had to do a lot of talking, trust me.
Did you get any other quotes by chance?
The state
Yes.
of Michigan was.
Yeah.
Oh, just the state of Michigan?
We went to the state of Michigan, who got us in touch with, I just had it pulled up, Andy Lee or something like that.
Albert Lee.
Albert
was
Lee.
like 41 something.
41,850, I can
How
pull
much
it.
more was a 3/4 ton?
We didn't honestly even look.
Probably won't kill transmissions in a 3/4 ton.
Yeah, I'm looking at it the same way, you're gonna work the heck out of it.
Is that truck on the lot currently? Like,
They actually ordered it, and if we didn't take it, they said they would have no problem selling it. So,
Don, what do you think? Do you think that?
I think the half ton's sufficient for us, so what this truck will be used for.
They don't build them like they used to, you gotta remember.
No, especially during COVID, post-COVID,
When we have to drive to go get.
our police car for
We
that
have to go
No, half
Explorer.
tons are only meant to go get a grocery bag from Frank's.
We've got 3/4
Telling
ton,
you.
we've got a 1 ton and another 3/4 ton to do that kind of work. We need a truck where if we have to go somewhere that doesn't get 10 miles a gallon.
Yeah.
So we've got a 1 ton dump, we have a 3/4 ton truck, and then this would be a half ton.
So you would be happy with this one then?
It'll do what we need it to do at this time.
Probably be a lot cheaper running our own radiators and stuff.
I'll make a motion then that we accept this bid and
Support.
go with the truck.
I'm good with it.
Jamie Kendall,
yes.
Darcy McSwain,
Yes.
Paul Jenderski,
Yes.
Edgar Titoff,
Yes.
Michael Nesbitt,
Yes.
Kathy Harris,
Yes.
and then Lois is absent.
Item F, swear in the new chief.
I'd like to welcome everybody, the new police chief of St. Charles, Mr. Jason Oliver.
Uh-oh. Jason, nice to meet you. Jason, nice to meet you. Jason, nice to meet you. Met you before, thank you. Seeing you again? Nice to meet you.
You too.
I'll address you guys. I'll talk to them a lot, but I'll address you guys. Just to tell you a little bit about me, born and raised in Vassar, so not too far away. I went to school to Saginaw Valley after that, got a 4-year degree in criminal justice. And then from there, at that time when both my wife and I graduated, neither one of us could find jobs. That was a time when nobody could find jobs because everything was packed. Total opposite of what it is now. So we took a chance and we went to South Carolina for 5 years. She has a teaching degree. I became a police officer down there. Do I need to sit still for you?
Let's do this afterwards.
Okay, I can strike a pose and go. Later on, okay, all right. So, moved down to South Carolina, that's where we found jobs at, and I began my first career in Columbia, South Carolina, which is probably the equivalent of a Detroit or Lansing in terms of crime and how busy you are. So I really cut my teeth as being a police officer down there.
running and gunning, 25, 30 calls a night, nonstop. I was on the SWAT team for 3 years down there. FTO, which is a field training officer. I was a master police officer before I left. And just before I was leaving, I was put up for corporal. But then we had our first child and decided, well, it's time to move back home if we can. Want our kids to grow up with their grandparents, the rest of our family, so we moved back home. I then started to work for Tuscola County Sheriff's Office, which is where I was raised at in that county. Went back to there, worked there for 3 years, and as I was there, I got to know one of the Millington Police Department's officers at nighttime. He would, old timer, would work weekends, he would cook for us. So of course, police officers night, we're gonna go eat with the old man. He's gonna grill for us every night. It was getting towards this time where he was gonna retire, and he kind of let a few officers know, me being one of them, that he was gonna retire. And he told me that, you know, if you get into this spot, the chief that's there now is probably gonna retire. So I applied for it, worked out well, I got the job, and I got the job in June, and then in February, I was appointed chief. The prior chief had retired in December. And I was there, I've been there for 7 years now, total 6 years as chief. I do a lot of community stuff. If you guys want to, you can check me out on the Millington Police Department page that's still up and running to see what I do with the community. I'm really involved with festivals. I've been in the dunk tank for the last 3 or 4 years trying to raise money for the kids because they run it, and it depends on the grade. So like, the first time I did it was for the wrestling program. The next year was for the kids to do for their class trip. The next year was for their prom or whatever it is, but whoever's running the dunk tank, they just come and ask me, okay, what, I'm available this time on Friday, usually is what I always do it. The same time when I get off, so, things like that is something I'm really accustomed to. Parades, being in the schools is a big thing for me. When I first started in Millington, that was a time when the public was, hearing nothing but negativity about police officers on the news. It was all about the bad stuff that we do, and not all parents, but some parents let their kids watch that. And so they started off life with this negative attitude towards police officers, and I wanted to change that. So I took a lead and started going to school, and I was grading the kids in front of elementary school every day. They got to know me after about a couple weeks of being scared, not sure why I was there. Parents as well. I got a lot of "what are you doing here" questions when I first started standing up there. But then we started a program in the school called the Officer of the Week. Elementary school, and we have a Lutheran school in Millington. Excuse me, one child per school, or one grade, so we rotated back and forth. So you get one student per class, a teacher would nominate them, and they become the Officer of the Week. They get a badge to wear around of the week, I bring them in lunch of their choice, and they have a couple perks within the school, and then I go and talk to their class every day, or in the morning, that one morning. I also swear them in as an actual officer, and they get a certificate. So just something really cool for the kids to have, something for them to strive for. But when I go talk to the students, I'm not just talking about our gear. I'm throwing in little things like, okay, when we have our lockdown drills, remember what we're supposed to do. Just go over things like that in between, so they're not just beat on these lockdown drills and they kind of forget it. It's talking about some things that interest them and throwing stuff in there at the same time so that they remember this stuff. But I'm really involved with the community. I'm looking forward to greeting you all, meeting you all, hopefully not in a good way, or in a bad way. In a good way. I don't know, man.
No, you're gonna be back. If you were running and gunning 25, 30 calls a day, you're gonna be bored here.
Well, I'll tell you what,
this is Mayberry compared to what you were doing.
You guys are a little over 2 square miles, and Earth is less than a square mile.
We argue about that because you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Turn around, talk to my son, to ask him how many chickens we got in my house.
You better not be saying that. You better keep tight lip on that.
We worked through some things in Millington on that. I had some ideas. If we had some issues that I'm happy to share with them. What the ideas that we made it work for us over there, because it's actually smaller than what St. Charles is. Like I said, it's less than a square mile. So, I mean, you drive for 8 minutes, you've been through every road.
Yeah.
I mean, what else can you do? So, but we did have we had M Road through, so you do a lot of traffic on the M Roads. But yes, we did have issues with, people bringing chickens in, wanting to do chickens. We sat down and we talked to the council, we talked to the public that was there, and we came up with some rules that everybody was okay with, and it worked. So far, I mean, it's been going on for 3 years now, and we haven't had an issue, so. If that's something you guys are kind of looking at.
No. You don't want to
Talk about pigs. Talk about pigs.
But we don't want to talk about pigs because then my son won't be quiet now. So, but anyways, I appreciate you guys having me up here. The council for approving me to be here. The people that were there with the interview process, it was enjoyable.
We'll swear you in. Make it official.
What do you want me to do?
Raise your
They
right
get your
hand.
picture now, right? You get your picture now? Okay. No, you gotta come in here for it. They gotta
get in there.
Raise your right hand, please. I do solemnly
I
swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will support
I will support
the
the
Constitution
Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of this state,
of this state,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of
the duties of
the Office of Police Chief
Office of Police Chief
in and for
in and for
the Village of St. Charles,
the Village of St. Charles,
County of Saginaw,
County of Saginaw,
and State of Michigan,
State of Michigan,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
I would just add that we hit,
Welcome to Mayberry.
I came from Mayberry, so it's not much. We're gonna get along just fine.
I would
You
just
always
add,
get along with
You
me.
don't get along with Neil.
Everybody gets along with me.
I'm easy.
we had an interview panel, President Titoff, myself, village treasurer, and another officer, based on different times, and Chief Oliver was head and shoulders above everyone else in his interview. The paperwork, obviously, we had a lot of good candidates, and there was one question where we're sitting there, and it's like, do you have any questions for us? And he said, well, what are you looking for in a police chief? And in my head, I was like, you? But I was like, don't say that out loud. So I was like, leadership and all these things. And I look at Marguerite like, bail me out. But A+ interview was on my notes, just a stand-up officer and a great interview. And we had a lot of great candidates. So welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And my family might have to take out, we gotta go pick the other one up for baseball, so I'll stick around.
You want to introduce them?
It's my wife Angie, this is my youngest son Maddox, gonna be the pig farmer. My mother-in-law, my sister-in-law back here. So, my other son's at baseball practice, if we're not at one son, baseball practice with the other one, so. Travel baseball for both of them. Yeah.
Department reports.
Well, we're gonna go resolution 2310 G. And this comes off of last month's meeting where planning commission member Sabrini, made some comments about shame and democracy, and I agreed. And so, doing a lot of research, I'm part of the International City and County Management Association nationwide, and this is very common throughout the nation. It's just civil discourse. We bring up topics such as chickens, which gets a lot of emotion on one side or the other. And so it's just a little resolution copied from a municipality in Wisconsin. Minnesota has the same. Almost every county, township, village in California, all the way to Florida, has some kind of just resolution with just civil discourse on how to handle it and what we're going to do, and kind of try to stick to those rules. And as it says in here, we support civil discourse and discussion in the community and the government center. Sometimes controversial issues about which people often feel passionately, which at times leads to uncivil behavior. And whereas an atmosphere of incivility and disrespect can have a damaging effect on the proceedings, on the quality of the debate, and on the practice of democracy itself. So Adrian mentioning that kind of brought this to to my awareness, and so I wanted to do something just to show that we do take these jobs in the council very serious, and that we do want to have difficult discussions going forward, but at the same time, it's not going to change the way that we respect and talk to each other. America right now, contentious as all get out, federal level, state level. It doesn't have to be on the local level. We are, these are your neighbors, these are your friends, these are the people you're going to see out at the bar, at the gun stop. So this is just a way to kind of set some barriers and ground rules, and just try to keep everybody above the fray.
Yeah, sometimes it's good to talk and not argue.
Yeah, 100%.
Good.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 23-10.
I'll support.
All those in favor?
Roll call.
Jamie Kendall,
Yes.
Darcy McSwain,
Yes.
Paul Jenderski,
Yeah.
Edgar Titoff,
Yes.
Michael Nesbitt,
Yes.
Kathy Harris,
Yes.
and Lois is absent.
And Ed, before you move on, there's something that's not on the agenda that I thought we'd do. Friday is Jenny's last day. She's been at the village as clerk for 3 years, 5 years. I don't know. I've only been here for 4 years.
Would have been
5 years. She's going to Saginaw Valley State University, alumni engagement manager, back to her alma mater. So, as part of this, Council, Don, Marguerite, myself got you something. You can't go to your new office without anything. So, that's a thank you from us and congratulations.
Congratulations.
It looked a lot bigger in the picture. It looked like this big. I thought that's an expensive thing.
Don't thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I will add that we've had interviews the last 3 days. We have great candidates, and we'll probably make it higher in the morning. The person that, pardon?
So she'd be real hard to replace, so.
The person that will be coming in has an MBA in accounting, and so I believe is in the crowd tonight, and I think she'll do tremendously. Has all the experience in the world.
Did she do taxes?
Taxes, that's Marguerite's job. That's Marguerite's job, but, so it's very hard to replace, but we're coming in with a master's in business administration and specializing in accounting, so we'll be able to do the accounts payable and everything that Jenny, she'll learn it over time, but thank you, Jenny.
Thank you.
Could have bought her a Stanley Cup and she would have had it. I know. I have a wife.
I don't think Mike knows about that one.
DPW report.
On the water side, we pumped 3.9 million gallons last month. We took our water sample for disinfection byproducts, no issues there. We did a cut and cap on Saginaw and Water Street to get the second river crossing up and going and abandon the water main that was leaking under the light in preparation for the water main project. That was completed, that went pretty well, I thought. And on the sewer end, we pumped 10 million gallons. We did finish discharging pond number 2, and then on streets, just routine sweeping, brush pickup. At the park, we spent a couple days trimming some trees and turned the water on. Bathrooms are open and the park's open for the season. So, and we're getting ready to start a major water project. That's all I have. If you don't have any questions or comments. This water project means a lot to the village, it really does. It's, you know, people just see it as money, but it's a big investment in the future of this community.
I think it increases property values as well.
The reliability of the system should go way up. It's gonna be a busy summer, and I'm sure we're gonna find some stuff we don't expect to, but when it's completed, it'll be well worth it.
Our largest payment will be $290,000 for this project, which I thought they were all gonna be that way at 5 or 6%, so.
What would you say, we got a 3.6?
3.66,
Cheap,
yeah,
especially nowadays with the interest rates.
correct. It was, when they called, so it closed at, I think 11 o'clock, I got a call at 11:30, and it was Brian Wendling, and I'm like, okay, let's just brace for the bad news, and 3.6, but they're gonna add $70,000 as a contingency, which would make it about 3.66 if you're okay with that.
People don't realize it's huge.
Yeah, and then you put the 70,000 away, you can either add on to the project, or that goes to your, that covers our first payment, of principal interest.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's all good things. But the numbers still scare me. But, we talked, and Mitchell, again, we're meeting tomorrow, maybe we go a little further down East Bell and get the railroad crossing that had that break over there, see what that would add to it, but if we can put 70,000 more into the job, let's get it done.
Well, like Don said, you might run into some unexpected stuff,
Yeah.
you know.
We do
I'm
have.
trying to keep it to the side for now
Yeah,
until.
we have, I think $213,000 $100,000 in contingency money ready for that kind of
It's
project.
good to
so.
have, it's good to have a blanket put away like that, just in case.
Yep, all good things, and I'm really hoping the federal government comes through in December. I know I don't like to rely on them for anything, but that would be huge towards our payment.
As long as you can be Mr. Kilby's best friend.
No comment.
Tell the budget's passed.
Right.
I'll make a motion to accept the DPW report.
Support. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Police Department report?
Kind of went through that with Chief Oliver, and be back up and running next month.
Building inspector?
All right, you should all have copies of my reports in your packets. Looking forward to get moving with the new zoning ordinance in place. I have several complaints that I'll be moving forward on civil infraction ticket violations. Also, I've had several calls about some possible future developments downtown, in and around the main corner, Saginaw and Bell. I'm not gonna disclose any of the addresses on that yet, because they may affect sales. And that's about all I've got going right now, so, any questions?
There's a couple of places, can you like go do that tonight?
Pardon me?
Nothing, I'm kidding.
Seriously though, there's a lot of stuff in this town that people are getting away with that, you know, we need to clamp down on it.
Yeah.
Start writing these complaints, whatever we gotta do, I mean, there's stuff going on for years that just needs to be addressed, and it's like, I got people coming wanting to know why nothing's being done, I
People
wanna
just-
know why nothing's being done.
Well, people just complain to complain sometimes. If they're not gonna put their name behind it to back it up, then just shut up. You gonna complain about something, back it up.
I'll say I received a call this morning from somebody who regularly complains about particular houses. Without giving too many details, is around town a lot, and it's normally the same. And he said, "Yeah, they've picked it up a little bit, but it's not good enough. It's a disgrace." Blah blah blah. And the sad part is they don't understand the process. You know, Scott sends a letter. They have 2 weeks to do it, and okay, and 2 weeks later, all right, it's cleaned up, and then the next day it's back to, the next week it's back to crap, and then you send a letter. So that was one of the things in this planning or the zoning ordinance. We looked at what's the best process, what's fast enough, but also will the judge, should we go to court with these people, show that we gave them enough time to try to clean it up. And that's one of the complaints I have at the land bank. That's one of the complaints I have. It's just people know the tricks of the trade. They clean up just enough to get off the list, and then it's what are frequent flyers, I call them.
But I'd said this before, I mean, if you're gonna come up with a complaint, make a formal complaint. You should have some kind of a complaint form where you can go, okay, this is what's going on, and maybe we can resolve it,
Yeah, we do have a
Without
complaint
taking it to
form.
court or whatever, you can say, hey, well, Mr. So-and-so got a problem with this, well, maybe you can resolve it. But if you're just gonna complain, just keep complaining and complain every week, you're not gonna do nothing with it. Write down what it is, brief comment, sign your name to it, date it, so you got something to say, hey, listen, I've been doing this since 2020, and you guys talked to nothing about it. You got something on paper saying, hey, this is legit.
We do have a form that they fill out. We also have an Excel spreadsheet that kind of updates everything as it goes, the process of when they got the letter, when the letter went out.
Yeah, but before it was, they were gonna let you know who was complaining about what, which was wrong. If you're accused of something or something, you have the right to confront your accuser, and there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to. If somebody's just gonna complain, then whatever. If they're gonna write it down and say, hey, this is the guy that's complaining, and if you can't back it up, then, you shouldn't be complaining.
I think Scott's hands were tied before as far as being able to issue tickets and that kind of stuff. And that's what this ordinance
Yeah,
is.
so we changed the process there, more civil infraction, which now we can start dinging them monetarily. The sad part about that is some of the people who are the frequent flyers, like I've spoken before, they don't pay their taxes. They're behind 3 months. We're looking at the land bank to not give them an extension. They're not gonna pay any fine or fee you give them.
We know the people that have been on that docket forever.
Yeah, and then they've said verbally that I'm just gonna let it go to foreclosure and then I'll find somewhere else to go. Well,
You know what
go
I'm
sooner.
talking about. That is a fire hazard and a half act.
Yeah.
I don't know how he gets away with that.
The thing with the one situation is that the person that owns the property is a junk collector, so it's like an ongoing thing anyway. You know, it's,
There's a lot there. There's, I think, mental health issues involved, and there's a lot we have to be careful of legally, but, yeah. And, well, I do have, MWA, recycling and garbage calendars in color if anybody wants them before they go. Just a heads up.
I'll make a motion to accept the building inspector's report.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Second public comment?
More of a question, Ed. You guys usually put this kayak thing in. Now, what about, I noticed, and everybody noticed all the trees build up on the bridge, on the river. Now, who's the go-to to have that cleaned up?
We already talked about that, me and Harmon, he
Yeah.
put in a grant for that to get it done, and you walk down there, there's it's probably at least 100-foot long cottonwood down there.
It's,
Oh, against the railroad
Listen.
bridge down there?
You and I and some of these other guys know what that's all about, and we could get a winch from the DNR side, hook it up to it, drag it over there, cut it up, and get it out of there, so we get some of that flow to get that out of there, so we ain't busting props and.
yeah, I mean, if it comes to it, volunteers, I know a bunch of guys. probably
Exactly
do it,
what I'm
but
saying.
you
I mean, it's
got-
great that he can do it, and he can get money for
DNR.
doing it, but the grant might not even go through, it might be 2 years, we can't wait 2 years to get that done, we need it for the summer. We should have
When we
done
do the
it.
flat stuff, they gotta have a permit from the drain commission.
Nope, the DNR told me do it, he said, do it.
Yeah, but.
Doing it and getting in trouble,
Vic-
because they're
Vic
gonna
has
wanna
to
know
do
3
it.
months from now who did it.
Right.
So my understanding with
Right.
trees was
Right.
anything, okay, if it's got a root ball connected to it, you cannot tamper it.
You know what the DNR told me, he says, that's the right of way, if it's a public flow, whatever, he said, you have a right to float logs down that.
That
and
was
no-
Vic, right?
Nobody can even say anything, huh?
That was Vic.
Where the new guys are up there.
Oh, a new
There's a
guy.
couple.
There's a new guy that came
Yeah,
in
there's-
one day, and I
yeah,
didn't
but-
say this, but he came in one day and I
But
talked
he-
to him.
Yeah,
And, he said he could do something or make something fast, and I said, listen, we can get, we can get a bunch of
Yeah,
rednecks.
that's
with
fine.
can you
these
honestly
up
think
there.
of one person in here that's gonna complain about cleaning that up?
No,
It's
but-
gonna free our waterways, it's our waterways to use how we
All the way up to
want.
Ringwood Forest.
Well, that's
That'd be great.
It would be, I mean, we've talked about that before, so
Get
we
it
canoe
flowing.
all the way through there, if you get a canoe and a couple guys and some
There's a lot of
chainsaws, you could
people
flow
that's
that
never
all
went
the way
up
from there
that
all the way
way.
back to
It's
town.
really, really cool up that way.
It would be.
Beautification Day, when I was in senior, we started, Mr. Howell and us, we all started at Ringwood and worked our way down the canoes.
I mean, it's too bad we don't have the,
That was fun.
what are they, remember the bars?
When we were younger,
Some, you guys probably don't remember, I'm sure Phil and them guys do. Mr., what's his face? But he used to have the barge down there, Greaves. They'd haul that stuff out of there, go up and down the river with a bunch of volunteers or guys from the state summer jobs. Taking all them trees and taking them up to the shore, they'd cable them to the shore, so they would open up our waterway.
Right.
And they said, no, they want it El Natural, so they just let it flow. And they, probably a money thing anyways, but, yeah, it needs to be cleaned up.
you used to be able to go from Ringwood Forest off of Ring Road. You could put in there, they actually had a canoe, and you used to be able to canoe
Yeah.
right here in St. Charles. And it was all scenic throughout the back, and I mean, it's an awesome deal. I mean, we still do it on our snowmobiles and that, but not, the waterway is so packed. But problem is, you got a couple beaver dams here, you got trees that are down, you got this. But I mean, I don't know who we got to talk to, but I talked to the one guy, the new biologist, Monday, he came into the shop, and he said something, and he's all about big time with the ducks and all that stuff, and I said, well, what do we gotta do to make it happen? And he said he could figure something out, but if we can get some kind of written permission, but the problem is you disturb the water so far down, you're dealing with DEQ issues and BS and
Eagle.
blah, blah, blah. and
That's
this
why I
and that.
said if it's connected by the root ball, you can't.
It's not connected, most of that's just free flowing down there. I get that. That's what we just wanted to.
And leave the root ball where
Right.
it is.
We've been talking about this for months and months, but I mean, that's just a liability thing, if somebody got hurt, I mean, if you sign a waiver saying you're volunteering, you just gonna get some guys in there, just, get the winch on a truck or
No,
whatever, a
like,
boat,
if
couple,
you're using a
set the.
chainsaw, you can't use barn chain oil, you gotta use like vegetable oil.
We do need to get
Whatever,
that, we do
whatever.
need to get that tree up.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I could
using,
go a lot of
just,
it.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
wouldn't take
a
about,
bunch of crap, yeah.
what,
So-
4 or 5 hours in the morning, a couple pizzas, couple coffees.
So what we're
whatever.
trying to say is, can we use your name Hartman when we do it?
Yeah, we're gonna put blame on Hartman.
Can I have that biologist's name and number? I'll talk to him. So that said, Paul Streen is the aquatic ecologist that I applied to the grant from. He said I expect to be able to announce recipients in May or early June. So hopefully we'll hear that we got the money. Then we can hire the Red Knights to pay checks for.
Now you're talking.
You can use 33% of the funds you receive towards paying people. Even I know enough people would volunteer, but at least incentivize a little
Listen, I
bit.
give him credit because he's really going out of his way to put in grants to save us some money.
That is, it's saving a lot.
And that's great, but we ain't gotta pay for it, but we have volunteers here that we do. I mean, a lot of the other people that used to be up here would say, there's no people in this town that are gonna volunteer to do anything. I say bull crap, there's a lot of people that do it.
trying to turn.
And there-
You betcha, we wanna make this
So you're
community
talking
a better
about
community for the
behind
greater good
Doc
of the
Klein's
community.
place.
Oh, they're right there on Rail Trail Bridge. We got an issue right now. There's like, there's like three of,
2 years.
there's 3 of them that are bound up right now, and honestly, if we had a couple boats or whatever, I mean, we could probably do it. But the thing is, I mean, it ain't a big deal. We can make some phone calls. I mean, we could do something this weekend. I mean, I'm not worried about that. The thing is
Clean up
I just
before
don't wanna
summer.
deal, I don't wanna deal with the new chief of police having to come down there and saying, hey, because,
It ain't gonna be him, it's gonna be the DNR or something.
oh, they're gonna call.
DNR already talking, they ain't gonna say crap.
Well, then just do it.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Cut free.
Yeah,
We
they
used
did.
to just
They said
do
that's
it,
our,
and then I
they
went down there
said,
and
told me
looked
it's
at
our
it.
waterway to
This
use
is
how we
actually
want,
your
so
lights
if we want it free, clear, he said, it's like the
TMI,
gravel boulevard,
TMI.
he said, just dump it, he said, do it, we don't care.
But, so MDOT will be coming in to work on that bridge, and they're probably gonna clean up that side, of those trees, and I'm curious to see how they would go about it, what permits they're pulling, and if they're talking DEQ, Eagle, etc.
I see
I'm
what I'm
hoping
saying.
that they'll clean up theirs, but
We'll do it for $250 in Miller Lite.
Well, it'd be good to get it done before Labor Day weekend, Memorial weekend.
There you go.
too soon.
Get up there. That was a nice chunk out of the bridge missing too. Notice that?
Where?
Behind the plate.
Oh, great.
You look at it, it's like, about like that long. I'm like, wow.
Don't bring that up no more.
Yeah, hey, that's the county. State.
I got a comment. Is there any update on the police station being at the school or here?
I don't think it's moving. I know there's a county hub there that they change it, but, as of right now, we're gonna have the SRO, they have a meeting next week to look at adding the SRO full-time. They'll pay half, I think it's like $34,800 of the salary, wages, benefits, etc. And she'd spend most of her time there anyway, so.
Just wanted to know,
Yep.
since I'm getting cell phones.
$34,040. 34.
They just dropped off some signs at the end of Cole and Hampton, both ends. Are they gonna be doing a detour when they start the water?
I don't think so.
Should not be.
It
Do
could
the
just
signs
be
say
Should be
detour?
on Bell.
Do the signs say detour?
lane closure signs, maybe just
But why on Flint Street?
for now for storage to keep them there until they
may
need them.
have like road worker ad signs on the cross streets.
Yeah, it's gonna be tore up.
Air construction are really good at what they do. I've seen them hand in hand, and I'm telling you, they're good. They'll keep everything moving.
Anybody else? Public comment? Question, concern? Otherwise, we'll have Mr. Woodgate tell another joke.
I don't know, I wasn't gonna tell no joke, but I'm gonna tell you guys, hey, I sat in here and I listened to you guys or whatever, and I heard Mr. Terry, he came up here earlier and that, and I don't know, I wasn't here previous meetings, it's only the third one that I attended, and, I think more, I mean, he's saying bullying and stuff like that, and I don't know whereabouts he's going or whatever, but I think that, you know, everybody's opinionated, and everybody has an opinion, everybody's saying anything, and I heard a lot of stuff from everybody, and I heard what Mr. Hartman was saying, that, you know, we all just, you know, we're all neighbors, we all gotta get along, I know we're all gonna be opinionated, and I know that we're gonna hate each other and that, but I think this meeting, honestly, to tell you the truth, went really good, and I think it was a good ordeal for everybody.
I think a lot of people jump to conclusions without hearing the whole story. They're ignorant to actually what was going on, and they jump to their own conclusions, and that's a fact.
In response to what you said, Neil?
Yeah.
Before you had something to say, you done, I was gonna say, this is the best meeting we've had.
This is a good
4
meeting.
months.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Best
Thank
meeting
you.
we've had in 4 months.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying,
I agree.
I sat in here Thursday morning, and I thought it was a really good meeting.
This is the best one we've had in 4
It's
months.
gotta be because me and you showed up.
That's
There
it.
you go. Yep.
I was gonna say, cause it's the first one I got.
Yeah, there you go.
You ain't taking a credit.
Anybody got a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
More lifers.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Meeting adjourned.
It was good.